Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix. That's me. Now, today we are doing a very special um, Life Talks. We are doing a author spotlight um, for the amazing anthology that I had the pleasure to take part in called We Choose Not to Be Our Diagnosis. And that is going to be coming out tomorrow. I have the wonderful um, publisher and editor who's Nick, who has also written a chapter, and two other very, very special people who will be joining us. This is going to be an amazing talk. Get to go behind the scenes and see a little bit as to what drives each of us, and why we say we aren't our diagnosis. So first and foremost, I'm going to bring up the beautiful Nick, who is the owner of Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing, and I'm probably screwing it all up. I'm sorry, Nick. But so welcome to the stage, Nick. This is not your first rodeo. In fact, you gave me my first shot of, the whole public speaking thing on LinkedIn. So welcome to Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix. I'm so glad you're here. So I want my viewers here on LinkedIn and on your channel, we all want to know, what was the guiding force for this book? I mean, yes, you've always been, the bipolar, writer, and then, Never in Control was your audio room and everything. So what made you decide that this anthology was happening?
Wow. So thanks for having me on and having us on, Crystal Behe. And I love your intro. So,
Our wonderful brother Aaron made it. Yes.
um, this book was in me. Uh, I just the timing wasn't right. I released five before this one, but once I stepped into full entrepreneurship this year, I knew that this would be the very first book I would want to launch. Anthology I would want to launch, created by the publishing company. I am bipolar, yes, and I was running my company part time around my full time job, but now this is full time and I've gone LLC. So I consider myself a bipolar businesswoman, and I felt that the best way to be able to connect the two launches this year, the business as well as the first anthology, would be to tie those two in. I want to be able to show everyone out there through my story and the stories of those in the book that it is possible, very possible, to live a successful life and own a successful business with the diagnosis.
So, I mean, I know why I was drawn to this particular book, because I I have the ADHD, CPTSD, neurospicy. I mean, that one meme where from uh, I can't think of the movie right now, but where it's like, you can't possibly have that many diagnoses. Me, multipass. It's so me. So I know why I wanted to, because I'm all about, these are my superpowers. This isn't who I am. So I love the fact that you've always been like that. So I'm going to bring up the very handsome gentlemen that are joining us, Mr. Jeff Van Dyke and Jerry Ryan. So welcome, guys. Great to see you. So um, I'm just curious. I'm going to start with, I'm going to go age before beauty here. So Jerry, what why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your diagnosis, and just what drew you to this project in general. Mm.
Well, let's see. Well, I am the oldest guy here, so that was one of the things. So it's kind of like this project is part of a legacy almost. And I know Nick loves that kind of stuff. Um, and it just seemed like the time was correct for me to talk about this stuff. And I've got two different diagnoses. I've had two major head injuries that almost killed me. Um, and they both happened on holidays. I had a head injury to this side where I was attacked on the job on a Father's Day. Um, and then I had a rollover car accident
Hmm.
that wiped out both my frontal lobes. That happened on Easter Sunday
Oh,
about
wow.
30 years ago. So I don't go out much on holidays just for that reason.
I don't blame you on
Stay at
that one.
home.
I really wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, I've been writing stuff for a while, and then I joined a group called the Outlier Project and met Nick. And it was just a timing thing more than anything. It's like I've written about my story, but and how to deal with being paralyzed. I'm also quadriplegic. Besides the two head injuries, the
Yeah.
car accident that wiped out my frontal lobes broke my neck, and so that's been 30 years of typing with one finger, or using voice recognition stuff. And the timing with meeting Nick in the Outlier Project was just perfect because she was posting that this was going to be happening, that this book was going to be happening. I thought, oh, this is perfect. It gives me an opportunity to tell people they don't have to give up when they get this word from the doctors who everybody thinks are all powerful, and they're not. They make mistakes too. That's why it's called a medical practice. They're just practicing. Okay. So that kind of cover it, Crystal?
Absolutely. So, um, I do like the fact that you did touch on the fact that your disabilities came from accidents later in life, because I'm the same. My neurodiversity happened because of my trauma from my abusive relationship, and 4 concussions in one weekend might kind of do that to you, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, um, and I get the not wanting to really go anywhere on holidays. My mom instilled that in me at a very young age, especially like New Year's. You don't go anywhere. Like if you're going to a New Year's party, you're staying there. You do not travel on those days,
Yeah.
because just because you're a responsible driver does not mean anybody else is. So, um, so Jeff, welcome. Now,
Thank you.
why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers, both here and on Team Replay, and tell us a little bit about yourself, and like Jerry, what brought you to Nick and this amazing book?
My chair brought me here. No,
Yes, you
and
did
the
it
internet.
fine on my channel. Yes, I love it.
No, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. So, um, so my name is Jeff Van Dyke, as my little tagline says. And what brought me here to this project is I originally had worked with Nick on the Legacy book, but prior to that, uh, I was born with a neurological disorder known as cerebral palsy. And cerebral palsy is a disorder that affects people in different ways. Some people have cerebral palsy and you may not notice it. They may walk with a limp, they may walk and uh, maybe you don't notice anything. Now, for me, this means that I use a wheelchair. I was born at approximately 27 weeks, I think, uh, which makes me around 3 months early. Um, my mom encountered some medical issues that I'm not going to get into because I'd probably be wrong and somebody'd want to crucify me. But the point is, I was given approximately 2 hours to live at one point, and spoiler alert, the doctors were a little off. I mean, I'm a little off too, but still we got that in common. But no, my specific cerebral palsy type is spastic. So you think of your body as like a rubber band or like muscles as like a rubber band. And so my tendons and muscles are kind of, they kind of do their own thing. So I'm kind of like Pinocchio in reverse. So my strings don't bounce me around everywhere, they kind of bounce me backwards. So everything is tighter and like wound like a tight guitar string. And yeah, so my body kind of does its own thing because of brain damage. Um, so ultimately, I've had around 30 ish surgeries. Uh, my most major surgery was something called a selective dorsal rhizotomy, which is fancy talk for a spinal surgery. Uh, they took my spine apart and cut out approximately 50% of the nerves in my spine, which made it where I could move my arms and um, go to the bathroom and things on my own. Uh, Prior to that, they didn't know um, if I'd be able to speak or if I'd be able to dress myself or any of that fun stuff. Um, I mean, it can be a challenge sometimes, but life is a challenge, so like it's whatever. Just roll with it, literally. Sometimes if you're going downhill, you roll really fast. Um, so hopefully your brakes work. Um, but if they don't, then you just make do with what you have. But so my my life growing up, obviously I had encounters with like bullies and I at one point was the only representation that I knew of like myself, and because I was a regular ed student, um, and I was able to do a lot of things on my own. It kind of made some things a little more difficult because I didn't have the support necessarily in the way that I needed. Um, One thing that I'll highlight that's in my chapter is at one point I was left upstairs during a high school fire, um, and they couldn't find any vacuum chairs. So if you don't know what any vacuum chair is, it's kind of like a stroller. The the wheels will kick outward or inward, whichever way that goes, and they kind of will guide you down the stairs. And um, this since I couldn't find the chair, uh, I was stuck upstairs. And so, long story short, that led to a lot of um, uh, other difficulties. All the bullies and everything, they kind of weigh on your mind. And I developed an anxiety disorder as well. So I have a panic and anxiety and depressive disorder. So I figured, why not? Why have one thing? Why not just pile them on? The more the merrier. It's makes it more adventurous. But my the point of telling my story and my goal with telling my story, whether it's with Nick or any other platform that I get to speak on, is I want to be the representation that I didn't have growing up. I want to be a bridge not only for people with disabilities, but people who find themselves in a tunnel of sorts. I want to be that bridge that helps people find their way out. Um, we may not all take the same path, but we can go a lot further if we go with a friend. So I want to be that hope for other people that may need it. I don't have all the answers, but I guarantee you I can come up with an answer. Um, and and the more we can do together, the more we can uplift each other the better world we can create for all of us. It's especially important for me to join in this project because uh, not only did I feel like the topic was important, but because Nick's name is attached to it. And once I tell you I'm gonna do something, you can rest assured I'm gonna do it. And knowing who she is and what she stands for and what her motives are and her intent and her heart, I feel a need and I have a desire to back that up. When people have good ideas and good hearts, you do what you can to help push that idea forward in whatever way possible. And so that's another reason why I joined the project. But ultimately, just to wrap up my little portion, um, I want to make an impact. I want to make noise, and I'm good at making noise. But uh, I want to make, to borrow the phrase, I want to make good trouble. Especially given the climate that we live in today, I think it's especially important that we, and by we I mean people with differences or disabilities or diagnoses, whatever word you prefer, that we come together to shine a light on what we can do and not just what we have, because with so many things happening around us, it's imperative that we raise our voices to together as one to ensure that whatever happens around us does not define us, but it's what's within us that will define us not only for the moment but for generations to come. And it's up to us to band together to ensure that we not only help ourselves, but more importantly, pick up the people beside us because we need each other now more than ever.
Yeah. It would help if I hit the right button on my computer. um, and I think all of us are here because we want to have an impact and help others and uplift others. I know that that's why Nick created the safe space with her audio rooms and now with the books. I'm assuming, you know, I know that's why I do what I do. I want to, make the world a better place for you, for my kids, for Nick's son, and everything. You know, having an impact, giving hope to others. The fact that your story is powerful. The fact that they said that you wouldn't live, and yet here you are. How old are you now, hon?
I am just turned 38.
About 4 years younger than me. I mean,
so they were off by just a little.
Just a little bit. And you know what? I talk about the good mommy all the time. It's my stepmom, but she's still mom. We always joke that she's gonna be late for everything. She's always late, perpetually. She's like, "Yep, I'm gonna be late for my funeral by about 20 years too." So proving them wrong and everything is exactly that. Proving that you have a will to live, you have something, you have a reason. So now, Nick, do you want to show our music video real quick, or all right? So when I found out about this book project, I wasn't sure if I was going to write a chapter or not, but I was so excited about it when I first heard about it. I went to Nick and I was like, I want to help with this, whether I write or not. I want to take part. And then about a week before the rough drafts are due, I said, do you have a slot for me? And Nick's like, of course, always. And I loved the book and everything that was going with it so much that I decided to write a song for it. And then wonderful, wonderful friend, in fact, the creator of my opening for my lives, took the song that I produced and turned it into, made a beautiful music video. And without further ado, here we go.
They gave it a name in a cold white room, spoken whispers like a spell of my doom. But I've got a soul that can't diagnose. I've walked through fire and I'm still close to everything I'm meant to be, not just what they see. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm not their doubt. I've got a voice and I'm gonna shout. I've got dreams that won't be tamed, I've got joy they can't explain. So don't you write my story yet. I'm more than limits and regret. I'm still rising year by year. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm still here. Some days hurt, some days shine, but I've made peace with this heart of mine. I've got cracks, but they let light in. That's where the strength begins. No shame in being real, that's how I heal. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm not their doubt. I've got a voice and I'm gonna shout. I've got dreams that won't be tamed, I've got joy they can't explain. So don't you write my story yet. I'm more than limits and regret. I'm still rising year by year. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm still here. Might walk a little slower, but my heart beats just as loud. Might fall and get back up again, but I wear that proud. 'Cause brave looks different on everyone, and I'm proud of who I've become. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm more than pain, more than letters next to my name. I've got fire, I've got grace, I've got hope you can't erase. So don't you tell me who I am, I'm writing that with my own hand. I'm still singing loud and clear. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. And I'm not my diagnosis.
So that is just, every time I hear that song, and I'm the one that wrote it, I get chills. It's so funny. But Aaron did such an amazing job with that video. He really, really did. So, and it's funny, we actually have quite a few writers that are in the chat right now. Poet, obviously. And then Surviving Together is, for those on LinkedIn, her name, here she goes by Mac, but it's Sharon. Remember when Jen Lin had the awards ceremony and everything, and my friend Sharon was also nominated for that big awards thing overseas. Well, Sharon actually won her event, her category, and so, which was really, really cool. So, and Ollie's here, yay! So, but yeah, we have a lot of writers here and a lot of people who completely understand about the whole diagnosis thing. Indigo, I know, me, Ollie. So, Nick, what did you want to ask Jerry and Jeff about the experience? Because I know how writing with you is. I've written with you before. I mean,
Wow. I don't know that I necessarily want to ask them about what the writing experience was. I want to tell them that, I have written with Jeff before, and this was Sherry's first time. And every time I get to write with someone, not just a new writer, but every time I get to write, I really am gifted with the opportunity to learn so much, not just insofar as our alignment and the similarities between our stories, but just about somebody else's life. And there are always parallels, I think, in all of our lives. When I think of Jerry, I think, you know, he is an author. Before writing with me, he's got his own books out there. He's a transformational life coach, and he, in essence, applied many of his own practices to his life when these accidents occurred. I, think of him as he's his living testimonial of what his work is capable of accomplishing for someone. He has a wife, he has children. And when you read his chapter, there's something in there that kind of really caught me off guard. In a moment they were in the hospital, something occurred, and it seemed the most unlikely thing that could, and it did. And I thought, man, if things weren't already like, mind-boggling at this point in life, like what more? Like I think I would be thinking, what more? Did that really have to happen too? Um, and they're just little pieces of each person's story that I will carry with me forever. Certain quotes, certain lines, certain memories. Um, and I don't think there is one that hasn't come up at some point since I've written with them, either in conversation with someone else, with a family member. My husband must feel like he has so many friends, even though he's quiet, because I talk about everyone. Um, and this Jeff and I, we became fast friends. Um, and many times when I think I'm taking myself too seriously, Jeff finds a way to make me untake myself so seriously with his sense of humor. Uh, there's something about his presence that's very grounding, simply because he's let go of control. Listen, this is what happened. This is what is. This is where I am. I know where I'm headed. Even if it takes me a little longer to get there in my chair, that's where I'm going. Um, and that's something I just love about him. He knows what he wants out of life. And it doesn't matter um, what path he has to take. He's going to walk it. I literally mean walk it. He's going to walk that path. So I want to say that I believe in my heart that they have experienced what I have experienced through this project, a, a deeper self, a deeper level of self-discovery, a connection with myself and with their co-authors, some friendships that will go beyond this project, um, and perhaps a revisitation of purpose and a reinvigoration of purpose. And then they could tell me, Nick, you're full of shit.
yeah, well, I'm usually pretty good about saying you're full of shit if I feel you're full of shit. You're not full of shit, because I agree when it comes to writing in the anthologies. I mean, this is number 8 anthology for me. I mean, I've written in, this will be the 3rd or 4th one with you, Nick. 4? It's a lot. And I mean, it's just, you build those bonds. I mean, you and I had a bond before that already, but at the same time, we learn a little bit more about each other each time we write, because each chapter that we write in an anthology, each story that we write, each song that I put together, it brings another piece of our exactly, Indigo, a little bit more of our soul out, like with my chapter. I go into more of the fact that I wasn't properly diagnosed as a kid and how that affected me when I was diagnosed, and I did do a lot of the soul searching, and inner child work and everything. And love you, Mac. I know you're working, honey. See you soon. But it's just all of your anthologies are very thought provoking, for me. And I read them all, whether I take part in them, and I always promote, that. But writing an anthology, you build friendships, and especially as the editor and publisher, we, having been there, it is a lot of work, and you really do, like, pieces of each chapter do stay with you, and thankfully this one is a very uplifting. It's like, nope, you can try and put me in that little box, and I'm going to tell you to bite me. I don't fit in this box. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, no, I'm not in a box. I'm good. And that was the biggest thing. It's not I have ADHD, or it's not I am ADHD, or I am neurodivergent. It's I have these things. They are parts of my personality, but it doesn't matter. Sorry, my ADHD shining. Thanks, Indigo. Love you, honey. But and that's the whole premise of this, it's to show everybody, it's like, just because we have different neurodivergencies, the cerebral palsy, all of this, it's not who we are. It's just a part of our description. Jerry, accomplished writer, coach. Jeff, I can't wait for what's coming next with Jeff. He's given me a little bit of tidbits on what he's working on, his talented art and everything, the little bits that I've gotten to know him. And Nick, you've always got something amazing coming up. I mean, so none of our diagnosis defines us. I mean, as you can tell from my office, I've got guitars, I've got art stuff, everything. So yeah, I like to do a little bit of everything all at once. So what is up next? Nick, you, my love, are going to be last. I'm going to ask Jerry first. So after the book is published tomorrow, which I'm so excited for, I know all of us are, the book launches tomorrow. It is going to be amazing. What is up next for you?
I know what's up next for Jared.
Okay. I've got tons of stuff going all the time. I mean, it's just
sounds like
Nick might be talking about. I wrote a scary book for kids.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, kind of like Goosebumps, and it's the first one of a trilogy that I've written. It's about wizards and witches versus genies and fairies. And it's all about a 12-year-old kid.
Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, 12-year-old boy that finds out that his family is all witches and wizards, and this has been going on since time began. So that's kind of one of the things I've got going, and I'm actually going to boost my coaching business more. I think that's going to be a big part of what comes from this book is the fact that people will see that there's ways around the labels that we've been given by the medical community and by society in general. And that's kind of why I've tried to accomplish just a laundry list of stuff in my life. Because it's like, okay, you've had 2 brain injuries. One of the doctors, kind of like in Jeff's case, they expected me to be dead, and that's happened twice. Both times I had a head injury. The first time they were like, well, I was in a coma for 3 days, had a 5% chance to live, period. And that happened when I was working in a hospital. It's the only reason I survived. And the second time, the doctors look at my skull films, basically brain scans, and look at me and look at those and look at me and go, you should not be able to make complete sentences. You should be drooling. So that kind of says the doctors don't know everything. So that's kind of where I'm going with increasing I do stress coaching because Lord knows I've had enough stretches in my life that, and I'm a former counselor. I did that for over a decade, and I specialized in people with anxiety and PTSD and stress. And that's what my book is about, the Living Less Stressed book. So this just takes it all to another level. It gives me a larger group of people that I can help. And through all the stuff in LinkedIn, the Outlier Project, all these different venues that I now have a platform to tell folks that you're stressed out, I can help you. And just check out my story and you can see how well you can do. Because if a guy with 2 head injuries and quadriplegia can get this done, I don't want to hear excuses from upright walking folks. It's like, it's just how it is. It's all a mindset. And I'm pretty sure that all 3 of you would agree with me that this is all mindset. It can take you down. It can take you into the sewer. Or it can lift you to the heavens. It's all in our choices. That's why this book is called We Choose. We chose, and we continue to choose.
Yep. Brings
we
to
get up
mind
with that option every morning.
It brings to mind the old saying, it's mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
Exactly.
Sorry, made all my goosebumps that we choose.
And real quick, I'm actually going to show the book cover and Nick's QR code real quick so that you can see. Yeah. I'm going to take Jerry's banner down real quick, but as you can see, this is the book cover, and that right there, that QR code is the way to connect with the beautiful Nick. If you are thinking about writing a book or anything like that, please connect with her or get a hold of me and I can connect you to her either way. So now, Jeff, so after tomorrow, what is up next for you? I'm excited about something that I know you're working on that I think is so super cute and cool. So what's going on why don't you tell us a little bit with what's going on next with you?
So for me, I work in the daytime or whenever I have to work. I work as a disability advocate. So I am a peer mentor. I'm also a graphic designer and a social media manager and part of a community education team. So my goal in work wise or life wise is to continue to advocate and use my voice and platform to help people of all ages with disabilities achieve whatever they want to achieve and to continue to use my life and experiences in whatever ways I can to help bridge that gap for whoever I can. In addition to that, I am also an adaptive athlete. I compete yearly at something called the Michigan Victory Games, which is a Paralympic event, which is similar to the Special Olympics, only it is specifically for physical disabilities. So I will continue to do that. But in addition to that, privately, some of you have heard uh, that I'm working on my own children's book that I am illustrating and writing. Uh, I'm still in the illustrating phase, so I think I've illustrated and colored about half of it. Uh, about a cat with who uses a wheelchair. I'm not gonna give her a specific diagnosis because I want whatever kid picks up the book or whatever teacher picks up the book for them to be able to tie whatever disability they need to it to make it more relatable. But she has two friends. One is a rabbit who uses hearing aids, and the other is a dog, a puppy with a limb difference, and so he's missing a part of his paw, so he doesn't have the very end of his flexible. So if this goes well, whenever I finish it, uh, I'm hoping to turn it into a series of sorts, because this book specifically highlights her first day of school, and so I knew what going to school was like for me, and I know that kids and even parents, it's it's a it's a adventure for sure. The whole separation anxiety and the uncertainty with all the accommodations, or in most cases, lack of accommodations. Uh, it can be a intimidating place to be, to put it nicely. Um, and so I wanted to highlight that whole adventure to kind of bring it home and kind of give a voice to those kids or people who might relate to it. So that's another thing I'm working on. Uh, and last but not least, I would like to ideally get involved in like more podcast situations like this, whether this be starting my own or hopping in on more, because I feel like I mentioned earlier, where I have a specific story to tell with experiences and things, and I really want to bring more light to disability and learning to live with a disability, but not only um, living with it, but also learning how to use it. As I mentioned before, disability or diagnosis is the floor. I decide and we decide what the ceiling is. And so uh, together, I think we can accomplish all kinds of things. And I'm hoping to use my platform to make that a reality for more than just myself by sharing whatever parts of myself that I can.
I love that, by the way. I love the idea. And I can't, everybody's saying that they can't wait until it's out. So I'm very excited for that.
Well, thank you.
And the comments are all saying the same thing. And Sharon is inviting you to a podcast with her as well. So now I am going to go last because as it being my channel and everything, what I've got coming up, we all know me. I've always got something in the works. But so, beautiful Nick, what do you have coming up after, after I will own it after promo hell and launch. What is coming up next? I mean, the book launches tomorrow, and I know that we've got a series of promotions that we're doing throughout the month. But what is next for the Guide and Brilliant Writers and just Nick? just Nick. What is going on with you?
Okay, so up next regarding Brilliant Writers, we are dropping part 2 of the Silent Canvas by Jack Torrance on July 31st. The first book was released on March 15th, and that would be followed up
By the way.
yeah, that would be followed by part 3, the roundup of the trilogy of that psychological thriller on Halloween. Um, we'll also be bringing out an autobiography by none other than Jen Lin. I'm very excited to help her promote her book. And, she's really lived an incredible life. It's all I can really say. Um, also going to be doing a publication, I believe September 19th is when we're looking to lock this one in for. It's a little bit different in my wheelhouse, but then again, so was Horror Stories. Thank you, Jack Torrance. This one is going to be by Dr. Steve Hudgens. He is a coach in transformation and life as well. But his book is actually very much in the basis of his thesis. Um, and it really just explodes the mind in terms of this concept of blended families. Um, really being more of a mosaic family. So I'm very, very interested in that because I myself come from a mosaic type family. Um, then the co-author score just went out for Legacy 2025. The Legacy Chronicle was the letter to my family. This is the third annual. I'm moving up the launch date, which is normally at Christmas, to Thanksgiving. Um, so there is a project launching on July 1st as well. July, my goodness, January 1st, 2026. Um, and so I, also can't afford that to impede, so that's why I'm moving up Legacy. But that's the publishing side of things. Oh, and the merch line launches tomorrow, which I'm very, very, very excited about. Um, very excited for that. For me, I'm just hoping and praying things work out for my elder nephew, my sister's son, to come visit me and spend 2 weeks with me in the summer. That's never happened. I've never been in a position to do that before. I am in a position to, and I would be really happy if that does work out. I really want that time to bond with him. It's tough when your only sibling lives in another country, and I really want these kids to grow up knowing me. My son didn't get to grow up knowing her as much. So yeah, that's like, and I'm gonna cook dinner, of course.
I mean, I know you were saying something about like a vacation. Are you thinking a staycation, maybe? Because I know you go to Canada to visit family during the holidays.
I was joking. I do not have time for a vacation right now. Did anybody tell you I just started a business like 5 months ago?
Yeah, but self-care is important too, though.
It is, and I get a lot of that in. I do. Every single day I do. I really, I throw myself outside of my hammock. I go in my little above ground pool there that's big enough for me. And I nap. So I picked up gardening again. So I made sure to get myself care. And no, I will not be traveling this year. Not really feeling very comfortable about crossing borders right now. So I will be staying put for the time being. But yeah.
All right. Well, so I will give my updates after, we start with the closing out. But is there anything that you guys want to say to Team Replay or our viewers right now about either the book or just, any final words of wisdom before I go into the what crazy thing is Crystal Phoenix going to do next list after the book launch? Mm. No?
Um, I think for me, I think I would say, first of all, thank you for having us and me. Thank you to Nick for bringing us all together as a unit, as a team, as a family. I mean, I had no idea where this was gonna go when I first started this writing journey. I didn't even have a clue what I was gonna write when I first wrote in the legacy book. But I think if I would leave a message for anyone who's listening, um, it is wherever you find yourself in the moment, uh, whether it's in a good space or bad space, uh, everything is fluid. So, if you find yourself kind of tripped up at the moment, uh, just keep moving. And if ever you need a reminder that it's possible to overcome things, uh, you know, look at the book. And I don't mean that as a plug to just sell pages or sell copies, but there are people, all kinds of people in the book that have encountered all kinds of different challenges, and we're all still here. But I think beyond that, we're all using what could uh, derail people permanently and using it as a foundation to uplift other people. So that doesn't mean we don't occasionally fall down. Um, it just means we use our stories and ourselves to pick each other back up. And I think that that's important to remember. And it's also important to remind each other that just because you fall down, it's not the end of the story. And I would like to also say that um, it's really easy to feel alone in the world all the time, but especially during such hard times that we're in right now. But I'd like to remind anyone that's listening uh, that you have four people in each one of these boxes that care about other people and that really care about who you are and how you're doing. Not just because we have to, but because it's it's the right thing to do. Uh, and the only way to make this world become what it's meant to be is by reaching out to each other. And so I say that to say, as a final note, to say if you guys ever want to connect, if you ever need someone to listen, I may not have all the answers, but I promise you I'll give you what I got. And uh, feel free to say hi anytime, connect on one of the platforms. Um, and yeah, hopefully hear from you all soon. But I appreciate your time and your ears and your fingertips. Um, you know, it's a pleasure to be here.
I will leave one last final word if that's okay. Um, every single day when you get up and you do what you're doing, it's very easy to have tunnel vision. We have a life to live and we have goals, right? Um, take those blinders off, look left and right as you're going, and grab somebody's hand and take them with you. When you get to the destination, it is going to be very lonely if you are not there with a whole bunch of people to celebrate and enjoy it with. Take them along with you. Ask them to grab someone else's hand as well, okay? And make sure that everybody's dreams are held in their fists as they're going with you. So when you get to that destination, they've all gotten to the destination. That is how we cannot be alone. That is how we uplift one another by seeing each other, yes, but by actually taking steps and action. Without that action, it's just a bunch of words. And I'm a publisher, and these stories The stories didn't get there because they're just a bunch of words thrown on a paper. This is people's lives. The real people like you and me. These are their lives. So I would say that's the one thing that I want to leave people with. Take somebody to that finish line with you.
How am I supposed to follow that?
Well, let me give it a shot.
Absolutely.
I think my last little piece of this is that all of us and everybody watching this has the opportunity to focus on what they can do, not on what you can't do. I mean, focus on what you can't do will run you right down the rabbit hole, and it's ugly down there. And like I said earlier, every morning we have a choice of, going to the dark side or moving toward the light. We've all chosen to continuously move toward the light. There'll be a cloud every now and then, but that's for everybody. And I think that's the key thing this book is trying to get across too, is that you don't have to live in the dark side just because they put that label there. It's focusing on what we can do. And it's a superpower. It really is.
I love you guys. I love you guys. I can't walk away from a project not falling in love with the people that I work with. It's impossible.
Yes, and thank you for even coming up with this idea, Nick. It was so timely. If you'd have done it 2 months ago, I couldn't have been part of it. It works so beautifully. All of it, and everybody that I've met that's a co-author are just awesome people in general. It's just great to be a part of this, and thank all of you. And thank you, Crystal, for having me on here today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I love getting, because of my absolutely crazy work schedule, I wasn't able to be in a lot of the Zooms. Thankfully, Nick knows how I am with my writing. I'm okay with that, but I did wish I could have been there. It's just I basically work 10 days straight, have a day off. 10, and I keep going. And I actually put in for today and tomorrow off. And, so I could, partially relax, but also so I could focus on the book launch and everything else, But so being able to promote this way, because I'm not as active as I used to be on LinkedIn. I own that. I mean, Nick remembers there was a time where I was constantly on LinkedIn. I was constantly updating. I was all over it. But I'm working so much. It's just, I won't lie. It's a lot easier for me to be more active on YouTube side than it is for me to keep up with all the million posts on LinkedIn for me anymore. So I've been promoting through YouTube and through TikTok and through those socials. And so we wind up having a very nice balance, honestly, of getting the awareness out. And I get to be able to meet you guys and speak with, the writers that I don't know personally. I mean, I know quite a few of our co-authors, but like Jerry, you and I really hadn't interacted much. We have in the past a little bit, but not much. And Jeff and I, this is, when we talked about doing the live today was really the first time we'd had a full conversation, and I'm loving this, and you guys are welcome anytime you got a new project that you're coming up with. I'm more than happy to, say, let's go. You want to jump on my YouTube channel? Let's ride. Let's have fun. I love it, getting the awareness out there for not just my projects, but my friends' projects, So on that note, we are at our hour and everything. And like Nick says, he's got quite a few wonderful books coming out. I've got a new anthology idea spinning around in my mind. Basically, it's kind of the stage crew telling their stories because they never really get the credit. It's taking their stories back is the premise. I've got a whole lead and a song and everything for it, but I'm not quite ready yet. I want to focus on this one coming out, but I'm excited for the shadows to come out, I guess you could say. The supporting characters are going to get to tell their tales is kind of the premise that I've got rolling around in my head this time around. And so of course supporting Nick and everybody else and just work. I definitely understand why work is a 4-letter word now. But it's just every time we write together, I get inspired to do another project, and we all have our own personal projects that we've got going on. And, each story means something. I mean, I'm excited about Jerry's scary stories and Jeff's story. It seems like it's going to be so adorable and it's going to help so many kids. And I'm so excited about it. And Nick, I always love your books. And I mean, what you did with Jack's book and with the Audible, oh my gosh, I got chills when I was listening to Jack's Audible. And I told your voice actor, because I knew exactly who it was right away. I was like, oh my gosh, you did an amazing job. You're what you're doing with guiding brilliant writers is amazing. You really are doing an amazing job. And I love all of you guys. And thank you for being here. And tomorrow morning at 8 EST, correct?
10 EST.
10 EST. We will have the link. Now, can you give us a little tidbit on what the pricing is? Are we going to have any kind of a special sale for the first day or no?
Yes. So the ebook is $14.99, but it will be on sale for the launch day at $4.99. And the hardcover is $24.99, but it will be on sale on launch day for $14.99. All of the sales royalties for the first 90 days is split among the co-authors. That does not include myself. And yeah, just come support and come support the writers. And if you pick the book up, please do them the honor of reading the stories. And if there's one in particular you connect with, please go back on Amazon and leave a review. You can leave a personal review. You could flat out be like, Jerry, I really loved this, or Jeff, that really touched me. Your reviews go a long way to what somebody else with the diagnosis going. Other people have got that book. You know what? There might be something in there that could help me.
So yes. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. EST, I will be posting the link on all of my socials for this amazing anthology. And the link is it's going on Amazon, correct? So, Indigo, it's going to be on Amazon and it will be tomorrow morning. I will send you a message personally with the link to your Facebook. So you will be able to get it right away. Now, I love all of you very much, but I have to go devein some shrimp because I am making a delicious shrimp dinner tonight and I've got to get working on that. I don't get to cook very often. So when I can, I do enjoy it very, very much. I'm making Margaritaville's garlic lemon shrimp. And it is so good. It's like you want to bathe in the sauce. It's so good. So I love you guys. Thank you all for being here. And I am going to close out with the music video just to keep it in your mind, and it's just an amazing music video. Erin did such an amazing job, and it does represent the book so well. So that is how I'm going to close out tonight. So I love you all. I will see you guys next time. Big hugs to everybody. See you later.
They gave it a name in a cold white room, spoken whispers like it spelled my doom. But I've got a soul that can't diagnose. I've walked through fire and I'm still close to everything I'm meant to be, not just what they see. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm not their doubt. I've got a voice and I'm gonna shout. I've got dreams that won't be tamed. I've got joy they can't explain. So don't you write my story yet. I'm more than limits and regret. I'm still rising year by year. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm still here. Some days hurt, some days shine, but I've made peace with this heart of mine. I've got cracks, but they let light in. That's where the strength begins. No shame in being real, that's how I heal. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm not their doubt. I've got a voice and I'm gonna shout. I've got dreams that won't be tamed. I've got joy they can't explain. So don't you write my story yet. I'm more than limits and regret. I'm still rising year by year. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm still here. Might walk a little slower, but my heart beats just as loud. Might fall and get back up again, but I wear that proud. 'Cause brave looks different on everyone, and I'm proud of who I've become. I'm not my diagnosis, I'm more than pain, more than letters next to my name. I've got fire, I've got grace, I've got hope you can't erase. So don't you tell me who